This Wonderkid is one of the best up-and-coming prospects in real-life football. A lot of people who have seen him play and have watched him have said he's on a similar level to Endrick, and he could have as good of a potential as that man does, and we know how good Endrick is. So this guy could be exceptional. On top of that, he's pretty cheap in Football Manager, should be in most of your saves, and has immense talent, particularly after the winter update. So let's run the intro and go and check him out. Hello everyone, Jake here for FMSCOUT. Welcome to another episode of Wonderkid to Superstar. And before we talk anything about this player, I really suggest you stick around in this one because there's a lot of explanation into what I think you need to do to make him become the kind of player that you see today. He's someone that's quite versatile, has a few different positions and roles he can play, so I'll highlight a few that I think could suit him. But before we get into all of that, if you guys could smash the like button if you enjoy this video. It takes a few seconds to do, completely free, and it really helps the channel in terms of helping certain videos pop and go to more people, so that's something that I'd really appreciate if you could do. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already as we push for 160k subs, but let's go check this player out. So we'll be going to Palmeiras in the Brazilian divisions, who of course have the exceptional Wonderkid we know as Endrick, who's one of the highest potential in FM history basically, and he's gone on to sign for Real Madrid for a crazy fee at only the age of 15 or 16, and he's seen as having a really bright future. But if you go to their under-20s side, you can see even without having the Brazilian divisions loaded, we've got two players loaded into this save. One is Endrick, and the other one that the game has put in is Luis Guilherme. Now, he should be in most of your saves, and most people who have seen him play has said that anything that Endrick scores, usually it's Guilherme who provides it. They apparently pair really nicely together for the Brazilian youth sides, and he is considered by many to be on the same wavelength as Endrick in terms of that next crop of Brazilian players coming through, and he is someone that's had great potential for all of FM23, but in the winter update, it seems like he's had a huge upgrade to his current ability in terms of the player that you see right away. And you can see he's also very versatile, as we mentioned earlier, so I'll break down how you can make him, I think, the best version possible. You guys might disagree, but it's what I'd certainly go for. But first, let's take a look at this player. He's 16 years of age, Luis Guilherme. He is valued at somewhere between 250k and 7.2 million. Very vague, but I've seen him being able to be signed for 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million in your save, depending on how good he is. But if you can attract him to your club, he could be an absolute star for you. He might be one where you have to wait a few years to sign him, but he's definitely worth scouting. In terms of his potential range, it's 150 to 180. So on the lower end, about 150-ish, you're getting a player who's still definitely worth the money. He'll be a top player and will be a Brazilian international for sure. But on the higher end, he'll go down as one of Brazil's greatest ever players. He'll be insane for you. And he has a lot of attributes right away to get excited about. He's very quick, very agile, very pacey, which is going to help him, particularly as he gets older and those physical attributes fill out. That pace is only going to get better. Technically, he's got great technique and passing ability, first touch finishing and dribbling. Determination and flair is there also, as is the decision making and the vision. Yes, he's not completely perfect in any sense, but he's certainly got a great base set of attributes there to become a top level player. 16 years of age, a lot of time left to grow, and a few years left on his contract. But now we're going to bring him over to our Real Madrid side and show you how I'd set him up for success in the future. Okay, so here he is. We've used the editor to bring him over to our team, and you can see I've got him in the shadow striker role on the attack duty. One, because it's a role that I really like in Football Manager and seems to do well, but also for reasons that I'll discuss in a second. But first, let's talk about his training. In terms of his training, in all of these videos, we just focus a player in on his role to get some natural development. But if you were doing an additional focus, my suggestion would likely be possibly in the passing department if you want him to be quite a creative player, or I think his decision making in the final third could use an improvement. So if you highlight that, you'll see his composure will go up hopefully, and his decision making, and especially that composure does need some work. So that's what I'd suggest. He's also being mentored by Modric and Benzema, so some very good personalities to hopefully rub off on him. He's only got a balanced personality here, so ideally we can get that to change. But then it comes to the role that we're using him in. Now, I'm not saying that there's a specific role that you must use him in. He could work in any role in theory, and his attributes might also be slightly different in your save. Maybe when you load it up, he'll have better crossing but not so good finishing, but usually he seems to look something like this. And if he does, I'm not sure the one that the game keeps suggesting to me of inverted winger on the left-hand side would be the one that I'd go for. If anything, if he was playing on the right, I would say inside forward because of that finishing ability. Of course, you could change your mind if you want to, depending on your tactical setup. but I think that would be a decent place to have him. But I'll put that as like the third best position, if you will. Second best for me would be as a striker, and I know that he might not look like one straight away, but as an advanced forward, if you highlight those attributes, he's certainly got the potential to be dangerous. Obviously, you'll have to scout him and see how he develops in your save, but for me, I feel like he's got to be a number 10, right? I feel like he suits it perfectly. The finishing ability, the passing ability combined make him need to play in that position, and that's why I've actually gone for the shadow striker role. It's one of the few attacking midfield roles that gets some use out of his finishing ability also. And I feel like here we've got a player who's technically very good. He's agile and quick. He can finish well, dribble well, and play a good ball in. He seems to be the perfect shadow striker, and I really think over time that could really suit him. So what we're going to do is simulate a few years ahead to see him at the lower end of that potential range, to see what you might get in the worst case scenario with Louis Guilherme, and then you'll see him right at his best, and trust me, you're going to sign him instantly once you see it. Okay, here we are, 2026. Now, we're a few years in. He's about to hit his early 20s, I believe, Louis Guilherme. And he's developing so well in this save, but it should be noted, currently, he's not even at that 150 potential ability. He's sitting at about 145 current ability right now. So this means, even in the worst case scenario, if you fully develop Louis Guilherme, he would look better than this. And that is exceptional, considering he's now worth 70 odd million pounds at this stage. He has one Brazil cap already and one goal. Physically, he's got amazing acceleration, agility and pace, which make him deadly in the in-game engine. The passing ability and vision is certainly there. Then you've got the first touch, the finishing, the dribbling. It's all at a crazy good level, and whilst his mentals do let him down a little bit, they will change over time. But if we highlight that shadow striker role for him, you can see just how well he suits it. Everything highlighted, he has down to a T other than a few of those mentals, and he's proved that on the pitch for us so far. His first season was a decent one, scoring 4 goals and getting 6 assists in 20 appearances with a 7.26 average match rating. He then goes on to score 14 goals with 8 assists the year after, then 12 goals and 16 assists. He is one of the best players in the league, one of the best players at Real Madrid, and he's doing so well. But of course, this isn't him in the prime of his career. So worst case scenario, you invest £5 million or so, get a player worth 70 in a few years. Best case scenario, you get a world-class talent like the one that I'm about to show you. Here you go, we're in 2035. He's 29 years of age, so he's developed loads over the years. And if you look at him attribute-wise, I know it's easy to make the comparison because he's Brazilian, but there is a bit of Ronaldinho in there. If that flair was a little bit higher, he'd certainly be very similar to him in my eyes. But just look how good of a player he is. Now, I'll let you look at those attributes for a second and take them in whilst I let you know that I have my own channel linked in the description where we do more Let's Play style stuff, as well as some YouTube shorts where we show off Wonderkids you might not have heard about. Now, you might have heard me mention my channel before, but I really would appreciate it if you do come over and check it out. I think you'd love the content over there if you enjoy what's on FMSCOUT. So thank you to anyone who does come over, particularly if you hit that subscribe button for us. I'm hoping to hit 20k subscribers over there before FM24, so any support will be massive. But yes, let's deep dive into Guilherme here. 55 Brazil appearances, 26 Brazil goals. So even when we're not managing him, he is still doing really well. His physical attributes are amazing, the pace, acceleration and agility in particular, but everything else is at a very good level still. The decision making is there, the composure, the vision, the passing, the technique. It is incredible just to see a player like this. 16 dribbling, 16 finishing, 18 first touch. You could not ask for a more perfect forward line player. Playing behind the striker, he could assist, he can score goals, he's everything you'd want, and in the in-game engine, he has certainly proved to do that, hitting 30-odd goal contributions a season for the last few years, including the year where he got 16 goals and 29 assists, recently 23 goals and 26 assists, and then crazy numbers, 34 goals and 24 assists in the league alone in 38 appearances. I could not believe it when I saw that one. He is on another level, but I'll quickly switch to the end of his career to see how he is there. And he continued to shine for years to come, consistently hitting 30 to 40 goal contributions a year, which is insane. Great average match ratings, and he's never dropped below a 7 in the time that he's played for us. I think actually he's never dropped below a 7.2, and only one year was below a 7.4. So that is unreal numbers. You never see anything like this normally. He's a fantastic player. Like I say, he was good before the winter update, but since, they seem to have upped his current ability and made him a much more usable player. When I've looked at him before, he never really looked quite right, but now he looks so good. But let's see if he won any Ballon d'Ors. And the answer was yes. Louis Guilherme won it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. After the age of 26, he decided, you know what, let's win some Ballon d'Ors. He's got 5 of them to his name. He's one of the best players to ever play play football in this simulation. He is just on another level. This is his attributes now that he's older. 90 appearances for Brazil, 43 goals. What a star. You need to buy him straight away in your save if you haven't already. Give him a try. So fun to use. If you did enjoy the video, smash the like button, and I'll see you next time, guys. Thank you, and goodbye.